Hello everyone, welcome to Students View. Today we are going to be dealing with the chapter Power Sharing from class 10 Pol Science. So firstly we will be seeing the definition of the word power sharing, that is an intelligent sharing of power among legislative, executive and judiciary. So this sentence means that the power should not be concentrated in one hand. It should be divided with others. So it is said to be an intelligent sharing because here the person is not having the wholesome power with one person. It has been shared with different persons, right? And we can see this is an element of democracy. In the previous sections or in the next sections we will be seeing how power sharing influences the democracy. So let's get into the chapter. So firstly they have given about the Belgium and Sri Lanka. This is very important from the point of examination. So if we consider Belgium is a small country and it is somewhat the area, if we see the area in the meter square, it is same as the Haryana state and it shares the border with, here we can see, Netherlands, France and Germany and Luxembourg. And we can see the population also, it is a little more than 1 crore. And its ethnic composition, if we see the ethnic composition, it is a social division, right? The things what are there, the social division, which is very complex in it, and social division has been done on the basis of their similarities, right? The similarities have been seen, then the ethnic division has been made. Similarities, culture or both. We see the similarities and the culture. Similarities means all kind of things, if that can be a physical one, but culture is not the physical one. It is something which you have got from your parents and which you are going to inherit to your next generations also. So here they have given the physical type or of culture or both. They need not always have the same religion or nationality. If you ask me that does all ethnic compositions has been made on the basis of religion, so religion does not play a vital role in the division of ethnicity, right? So here with the religion other kind of things are also involved. For example, nationality. So nationality is also involved with religion, right? So we will talk about this more later. First we will talk about the things of Belgium and Sri Lanka, right? So Belgium, its ethnic composition is really complex, very complex, and the total population, that is the 59% are in the Flemish region, that is the Dutch, 40% in the Wallonia, in the French, and the remaining 1% are in Germany and they speak German. And if we see the case of Brussels is the capital city of Belgium. Here 80% French speaking and 20% are Dutch, right? So we will be understanding these kind of things using the map which is given in the NCERT. So here they have said that 59% people are talking Dutch. So the yellow region which you are seeing are the people who are speaking Dutch, and this region is called as Flemish region. And the red part what you are seeing is the Wallonia or the Walloon, what we call. So here 40% and they speak French, right? And they are called Wallonia. And here you can see some red parts marked with blue strips. So here the people are talking German. So if you ask me why these people are talking different languages in the same country, here we can see the border covered by the yellow region. It shares the border with the Netherlands. So everyone knows that in Netherlands the prominent language which is going to be spoken is Dutch, and the red part is sharing the border with France. So the people are influenced by France and they are speaking French. And the remaining, so the next part the Belgium is having is the German speaking people. So of course this region is called as German speaking region. So this region shares the border with Germany. Because of Germany, the people living in this region are speaking German. So this was the case about the main regions or the whole Belgium. But we have another very important concept in the Belgium, that we know that capital city influences most of the things what is happening in a country, right? So the capital city of Belgium is Brussels. So if you consider Brussels as a part, the 80% has been covered by the French people, right? We have seen in a history also French was spoken because of the political despotism. In the same way, so the green color shaded part refers to the 80% people who are speaking French, and the black colored part refers to the 20% who are speaking Dutch. So this was the case of Brussels, right? And similarly we have another case of Sri Lanka. So let's see what Sri Lanka says, right? We have in Sri Lanka, it is same as, if we consider the area, it is same as of Haryana, right? And it is a South Asia, it lies in the South Asia, and the major social group is the Sinhala speakers, who are 74%, right? And the Tamil speakers are 18%. In Tamil speakers we have another two subgroups. One are Sri Lankan Tamils and another group is Indian Tamils. So Indian Tamils are originated from India. So when the Britishers colonized India and Sri Lanka, the workers from Tamil Nadu were taken to the Sri Lanka for the plantation work. So then they continued to live in Sri Lanka, but the Sri Lankan Tamils are the original inhabitants of Sri Lanka. So let's see how this has been influenced both the countries in the division of power. How it is influence. Let's summarize it once again. In the Belgium and Sri Lanka, the ethnic composition is very complex. There we have two parts, one is the full Belgium and another is the Brussels. So there the most are the Dutch, next we see the French, but in the capital city Brussels the most are the French speaking people and the least are the Dutch. So here the power sharing is very difficult, but we will be seeing how this has been created. But in Sri Lanka we can see that most of them are the Sinhalese. So they speak Sinhali and their religion is Buddhism, or we call them as Buddhists. And next we have the Tamil speakers. With the Tamil speakers we have Muslims who speak both the languages. So mostly we consider Muslims as talking as Tamil, and we have Christians also who speak both Tamil and Sinhala. They are consisting of 7%. So we will understand this more detail with the map of Sri Lanka. So here we can see the yellow part is saying or denoting the Sinhala speakers. The Sinhala speakers are the yellow part people, and as the textbook has given, the north and east side the Tamils have been occupied, and Indian Tamils are at the middle, because geographically the middle or the southern part of the Sri Lanka is more vegetative, and the Britishers have colonized this part of the Sri Lanka for more industrial purposes. They cleared out forests and all, and they created plantations. So we can see the most of the places have been covered by Indian Tamils itself. And here also we can see some parts of Sri Lankan Tamils, and the dot like structures are the Muslim dialects who speak both Sinhala and Tamil. So let's see how the power has been shared among both of these countries. So first we have Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka there is a practice of majoritarianism. So what is majoritarianism? So they have given in the glossary that it is just said to be that if there is a majority community, there is a majority community or the religion, what we say, that will rule the country, that will have the despotic power of ruling without considering the needs of minority. The minority people have been seen as inferiors for this country, but the majority people will be ruling the country. This practice has been developed in Sri Lanka. So let's see more about this. So the independence of Sri Lanka was get in 1948. So how to remember 1948 that the Sri Lanka got independence? So India got independence on 1947, 1 year after the Sri Lanka got independence, that is 1948. So this is how you can remember the Independence Day of Sri Lanka. So next we have the how Sinhala speakers took advantage of their majority. So they made the Sinhala as the official language. They disregard the Tamils, right? So the Sinhala applicants in the university were always having the advantage, and the constitution which was made, that only stimulated the progress of the Sinhalas, and they also foster the Buddhism. So this was done by the Sinhala. So they can ask in exam that how Sinhala speakers took the advantage of majority in the Sri Lanka, right? So here they can also ask, it is very important to mention the Act 1956. So by this they took the advantage, right? And how this disadvantage the Tamilians, means they felt alienization, means they feel like it's not their place, they are somewhat aliens for this place. And the political parties were made by the Buddhist Sinhala leaders itself, and they were not sensitive for the Tamils language and culture. They were only sensitive for the Sinhali people. So the constitution and government policies denied the equal political rights. The political rights, if we see the Sinhala and Tamil, the Sinhalese always had the high and the Tamils did not have that much. so they always get discriminated and they ignore their interests. So what did Tamil people did here? So they created LTTE, so Liberation Tiger of Tamil Eelam. So this was asked in the exam, that is Liberation Tiger of Tamil Eelam. So Eelam means state. They wanted a liberal state, a free state for them, so they can live in Sri Lanka. So they wanted to recognize Tamil as official language, and they wanted to secure their education and jobs, right? But repeatedly they were denied. So next they created political organizations such as Tamil Eelam, which I said above, in the northern and eastern part, because we see they were more highly populated in the north and eastern parts. So they wanted their Tamil Eelam in that parts. So as I said, their opportunities were repeatedly denied, so it turned into a civil war. So this civil war killed many people, and they made them to force to leave the country as a refugee, right? And some lost their livelihoods also. In the economics chapter, we have also seen that if we compare India, Sri Lanka had the best economic conditions. They had very good education, they had good health, but the civil war which happened, it disrupted the economic of the Sri Lanka. So it was affected, and this civil war ended in 2009. So this was the case about Sri Lanka. So you might think it was somewhat not good. For the minority people it is not good, for the majority it was good, right? So but let's see what Belgium did. So Belgium leaders, they recognized the existence of regional differences. The leaders in the Belgium got to know that in Puri, in the country, the major, the Dutch, and the minors are the French, but the important place is the Brazil. In that, French are high and the Dutch are low. So they amended the constitution 4 times, right, for the correct arrangement of the powers. Correct arrangement of powers can also be called as power sharing, because power sharing is an intelligent division, right? So and this country's model was very innovative. So let's see what is this very innovative element. So in the constitution, the Dutch and French speaking ministers were equal. In central government, what we see, both were equal, and no single community can make decisions unilaterally. So that means that not one community can take decisions, the majority of both the communities should come so that the change can happen. So the next point is, the state governments are not subordinate to the central government. You will learn that in the federalism chapter also. And the Brazil is having a separate government. If the central government is there, the Brazil's government is divided. In that also, the French speaking are same as the Dutch speaking ministers. So apart from the central and state government, we see a special kind of element, that is the community government. So which is elected by one language community. So it can be Dutch, it can be French, it can be German speaking. That means there are different language governments. In that one language, people will vote to be the ministers, right? Who are going to be the ministers. So this kind of governments will take care of the culture, education, and the language related issues, right? So if such kind of government is there will be no issues of language. Next we see that the Belgian model was very complicated because it has very different kind of things. So what happened, this was very innovative, I said in the first itself. So this was impressed, this was very good, and it avoided the civic strifes also between the two major communities. If what happened in Sri Lanka would happen in Belgium also, means the Belgium was in the Europe continent, and that would disturb other countries which are in Europe also. And because of this, Brussels was chosen as its headquarters of the European Union. So this was about the Sri Lanka and Belgium. So this was very complex. So let me just say again the concept of accommodation. Right, so here what just happened means, in the country Dutch were the majority and in Brussels French were. So they thought that let's resolve this, you also take the equality in this country and we will also take the equality in the Brussels. So this was about Belgium and Sri Lanka. There can be different kind of questions which can be asked from this case, right? So by this we have understand many things, and now let's see the 3 marker questions which can be asked from this chapter, or the 2 marks questions. That is power sharing desirable? Do you think power sharing is desirable? Yes, power sharing is very much desirable because it reduces the possibility of conflict between two social groups. As we say in the Sri Lanka, was there a power sharing? No, the power sharing was not there in Sri Lanka. But in Belgium, was power sharing present? Yes, power sharing was present. So the possibility of conflict was very much less, right? And it also, if the social groups start having the conflict, we will have a civil war, or not a civil war, but we can have a very violence and political instability. From this, a third party can come into the hand and they can destroy the lives of the people living in that country. So that's why the power sharing is very much needed. And what is the another reason of having a power sharing? So power sharing is a very good element for the democracy. So how it is very important means, it is an attractive option, and for the short run also it determines the unity of the nation, right? If all the majority and the minority are living peacefully, then we can see that that country is very united, and other country cannot come into its country and they possess their rule, right? So if there is no unity, then the third person can come and he can or she can disturb the things what is happening in that country. So what is the second reason? That is, it is good for democracy, it is a spirit of democracy. And what we see, this the democratic rule, it is affected by its exercise and it is lived with its effects. Means we are talking about the ministers and we are talking about the civilians. So the people who are affected by the power sharing are the ministers, and who are living with its effects are the civilians. So that's why the power sharing is very much important. And the power sharing gives a legitimate government where one citizen can participate and acquire a stake in the system. So if we had the majority rule, each and every person cannot fulfill his desire, right? If we had power sharing, then the people, a single person who is from a very poor family, can question or acquire a stake in the government. So if you talk about politically, we have two reasons, that are the prudential reason and moral reason. So what is prudential reason and what is moral? So if you want to answer in the form of politically, you have to know what is prudential and what is moral. So prudential says that it is going to be saying that how power sharing will bring out better outcomes. So we are talking about the outcomes. What power sharing is going to bring means it is guaranteeing the things of something is going to happen, right? But the moral reasons will emphasize that every act or the very act is valuable. Means the moral reason is saying that जो भी है whatever is here that will bring a value, but the prudential reason is saying that it will bring outcomes which is very necessary for a country. So in words we can say that prudential reasons stress that power sharing will bring out better outcomes, but the moral reason emphasizes. So you can see by the words the stress and the emphasize the difference between it, that very act of power sharing is valuable. So next we have the city of Lebanon, the country Lebanon. So in that we also see different kind of things. So this is not very important from the point of examination, but it is very important. The president in this country is selected from the Catholic Christians. Prime ministers are the Sunni Muslims, deputy prime ministers are Orthodox Christians, and the speaker is a Shia Muslim, right? And here one more thing is this kind of thing, why it has happened, because in previous year or in much previous years we have seen a very bitter civil war among the people, are the Christians and the Muslims. So they came to agreement that Christians will not take the help from the French and Muslims will not take the help from the neighboring country which is Syria. So by this agreement the such kind of political system has been implemented in the Lebanon. So here the Khalil, who is the listener, he is having a question that why such kind of system is being there in the Lebanon, why not a democracy? So what do you think, democracy should be good for this country or the system which is already there should be in Lebanon? So we have come to the last part. So from this part itself the most of the questions will be formed. So why democracy should be not divided? So they are saying why democracy or the power sharing should not be divided, because if one person is having the power, he can take decisions urgently, or in that time only he can take the decisions. If the power has been divided, then the decision making is going to be very tough, and this is the limitation of the power sharing, right? If the people are distributed in different countries, then the decision making going to be very tough. If the power sharing has been given to one person's hand or the group of people who are living at one place, then the decision making can be easy. Then this is one of the limitation of power sharing. But if we consider the advantages what the power sharing has given, because of that itself power sharing is a key element. So in modern democracy we have some common arrangements. So one is the horizontal division of power. So here we see the organs what we call of the government, that is the legislature, executive and the judiciary. Legislature make laws, executive executes the laws, and judiciary makes sure the execution of the laws, or if any kind of issues arise because of these laws or any kind of damage from these laws will be taken care by the judiciary. So how this power sharing is working? If the legislature is not doing its work, then the executive and the judiciary has the power to check on the legislature. If executive is not, then the judiciary can check or the legislature can check. If judiciary is not doing the work, and the legislature or the executive can check on it. So because of the checking and balancing, we call such kind of system of government as checks and balances. So we can see such kind of horizontal power of sharing. Here we can see that all different organs are having same amount of power. If we consider 33%, 33%, 33%, all of these are having the same amount of power. So next we have the concept of federalism. So we have a chapter which has been given for this, the part 2, that is the vertical division of power. So here at up we have the central or union. Next we have the state governments, or what we call in other names also, and next there can be a local government or it cannot. As we have seen in Sri Lanka didn't have such kind of things, but the Belgium had. And also we see that Belgium had different kind of thing with that is the community government. And that is a very good example of the third one, that is power can also be shared among social groups, that is the community government in the Belgium. So that is a very good example. So what is the another example of social division of power? That is the reserved constituencies in assemblies. We have seen the reservation according to the caste system. The reservation has been made so that everyone can get equal political power. We are talking about the political power. So equal political power can be achieved in the assembly. And next, and they have said here that the unit 2 will be dealing with such kind of concept. And lastly we have the political parties, pressure groups and movements. So in political parties, they influences the political competition. If only one political party would be there, then there will be no such kind of competition. So competition ensures that power does not remain in one hand. And next we have the pressure groups, and the pressure groups pressurize the government to bring some of their interests, and the movements which is led by the citizens will ensure the good democracy. So and these is the chapter power sharing, and these are some of the examples of the 4 kind of divisions of power sharing. So this was about the chapter power sharing. If you understood, please like and subscribe. Thank you.